Genesis 1:2-2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
This verse captivated me as I revisited the story of creation. It dawned on me that water already existed before the narrative of creation in Genesis began. This realization stirred up numerous questions. Where did the water originate? When was the entire universe created? Since it isn't explicitly mentioned in the Genesis account, and perhaps the most compelling question, were Adam and Eve the first inhabitants of earth? These questions sent me on a deep dive into the Bible, searching for answers. Along the way, I stumbled upon a scientific article that left me astonished. Did you know that the earth is estimated to be over 4.5 billion years old, a figure derived from radiometric dating, yet, from the time of Adam and Eve to today, humanity has been on Earth for approximately 6,000 years. What? So who inhabited Earth during those billions of years? To unravel this mystery, let's examine Ezekiel 28, where God speaks to the prophet about the Prince of Tyre. This figure initially seems to be human, but from Ezekiel 28-12 onward, things take a striking turn.
Ezekiel 28-12:19. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty.
The subsequent verses, Ezekiel 28-13-19, describe an extraordinary being. In Ezekiel 28-13, we read, Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee, in the day that thou wast created. This description cannot pertain to an ordinary human, Adam and Eve, who lived in the Garden of Eden, were not adorned with precious stones or instruments as described here. This suggests the passage refers to another being, Lucifer. Before we delve further into Ezekiel's account, let's clarify an important point about Eden. Genesis 2:8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Eden was a land, and the Garden of Eden was a specific garden within it, specially created by God. Returning to Ezekiel 28-14:19, the identity of this being becomes clearer. Verses 14-19 describe the being in the Garden of Eden.
Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God, thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Verse 15. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee.
Verse 16. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God. This being, Lucifer, was an anointed cherub, created perfect but corrupted by pride and rebellion. His punishment included being cast out of the mountain of God and ultimately destroyed. Before the creation of mankind, Lucifer lived on earth, as indicated in Ezekiel 28-13, his presence in Eden and his description as a cherub suggest he ruled over a pre-Adamic world. Could this explain the billions of years before Adam and Eve?
Isaiah 14:12-13 provides further insight. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
The reference to nations suggests that Lucifer's rebellion affected not just himself, but also others, likely the angelic beings under his authority. If Lucifer lived on earth before mankind, why did God recreate it in Genesis? The answer lies in the consequences of Lucifer's rebellion. When he and 1/3 of the angels were cast out of heaven, their fall brought chaos to the earth. This destruction is described in Jeremiah 4:23, which parallels Genesis 1-2.
Jeremiah 4:23. I beheld the earth, and, lo, it was without form, and void, and the heavens, and they had no light.
Luke 10:18 records Jesus' words.
I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. This aligns with the idea that the earth became formless and void as a result of Lucifer's fall.
This is Jesus describing how Lucifer fell. Don't forget that he fell to earth with 1/3 of the rebellious angels. This could explain why the earth became formless and void. The darkness over the earth could have been a form of imprisonment for the fallen angels. In conclusion, the evidence from biblical scriptures suggests that Lucifer and his angels were the first inhabitants of the earth, long before the creation of mankind. Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah 14 depict Lucifer as a magnificent being who once dwelled in Eden, a realm of beauty and splendor, before his pride and rebellion led to his downfall. His rebellion brought chaos, resulting in the earth becoming without form and void, as described in Genesis 1-2. This interpretation aligns with the understanding that Lucifer ruled over a pre-Adamic world with angelic beings under his authority. The destruction of this world was part of God's judgment upon him and his followers. The darkness that covered the earth can be seen as a period of desolation until God restored it and created humanity. Thus, the fall of Lucifer marks a pivotal chapter in the history of the earth, revealing the consequences of disobedience and the sovereignty of God in reclaiming and repurposing creation for his divine plan. This narrative reminds us of the profound spiritual history of our world and the ultimate triumph of God's light over darkness.